From Sharon Stone wearing Gap on the red carpet to Barbra Streisand's sheer Oscars fit, here are the most controversial red carpet looks of all time. First, let's take a look at this groundbreaking Jean-Paul Gaultier dress, or Madonna's 1991 Cannes look. I mean, everyone dresses up to the nines at the Cannes, but they do it pretty seriously and there's no room for campiness. But that's exactly what Madonna brought on the 1991 red carpet. The best part is, she didn't walk in her original look. The singer wore a cover-up on top, and later she took it off to reveal a full-on silk lingerie set, complete with a conical bra. No one was ready for what she brought, and it caused quite a stir back in the day. But Gaultier went on to work with Madonna for her Blonde Ambition World Tour outfits as well, and later became well known for his groundbreaking designs.
For life, yes, but in another way, because that way it's like a fashion freak show. So it's a show, a cabaret show, kind of, you know. So it's like another version. But what I am speaking about there, about clothes.
Well, this next singer also made a statement at the Oscars with her over-the-top black ensemble. Cher's Bob Mackie dress was quite the bold fashion choice. The Oscars had never seen an outfit like this, and probably never will. Now, Cher wasn't being taken seriously as an actress, so she decided to pull out the most outrageous outfit of all time, proving that she might be out there, but she always does it well. Cher's dress had a unique skirt and top design, with the cashmere shawl on top. And then there was the amazing headdress on top. She wore this outfit to the 1986 Oscars. You know, the one where her mask performance was snubbed, even though she just won Best Actress at the Cannes Film Festival. Despite all the praise she got for her role, Cher didn't receive a nomination, and some say it's because no one took her seriously as an actress. Well, Cher responded to it all with a unique fashion statement to make sure that absolutely no one would be ignoring her this time. Cher also worked very closely with Mackie. When Bob was sketching out designs for Cher's dress, he'd comment on how they were going a little too over the top. But Cher would respond that it wasn't enough. She said that she wanted to blow everyone away so that they wouldn't forget her again. But the story has a happy ending after all. She ended up winning an Oscar for Moonstruck in 1988, just 2 years later. And she wore yet another Bob Mackie dress for the occasion. Now, this next look is a huge throwback, and it was one of the most talked about outfits from the 60s. Barbra Streisand's Arnold Scazzi pantsuit. Yep, this one is for the history books. In 1969, Barbra won her first Oscar for Funny Girl. And what did she decide to wear to the ceremony? A truly iconic sheer ensemble. Now, many people thought she deliberately wore such a controversial outfit, but the performer told the world the truth years later. She actually had no idea the dress was that sheer. Barbra said she thought she'd win 2 Oscars in her life, so she decided to go a little more conservative for the second time. Now, sheer dresses are pretty common now, but remember that Barbra donned the original. Did you know that the actress actually had 2 options to wear for the red carpet? One was a classic and simple Dior gown, and the other was, of course, the sheer sequined pantsuit. But when she heard that the pantsuit would make more of a statement, that's what she decided to go with. That night at the Oscars, Barbra tied with Katharine Hepburn for Best Actress. But of course, her brave dress meant that it was her dominating the headlines the next morning. Now, this next singer brought a cool avian twist to her red carpet look, and it's one of the biggest Oscar red carpet moments of all time. Bjork's swan dress was met with a whole lot of controversy when Bjork wore it for the first time. It was made to look like a swan, with an orange beak resting on her chest, and it was accessorized perfectly too, with a trail of eggs that she'd laid behind her as she went. People were really harsh on Bjork's look. Joan Rivers said she should be put in an asylum for it, and TV fashion critic Stephen Kojo Karu called it one of the dumbest things he'd ever seen. Well, this white tulle dress was hilarious, out of the box, and kind of cute too. It's gone on to become a pretty prominent part of fashion history, and has been in exhibitions at the Museum of Modern Art and the Met. Plus, it's even inspired a Valentino couture gown. Now, Bjork was nominated for the song I've Seen It All from Dancer in the Dark, and she thought it'd be her first first and last time attending this event, but it seems like she totally fell in love with the dress because she never cared about what people thought about it and went on to wear it a lot of different times after that. Next, this outfit was also heavily criticized, not for how it looked, but for how it was worn. Celine Dion's 1999 Oscar tux was just not it. The hitmaker wore a white satin John Galliano for Christian Dior tux. Now, that's not too strange in itself, but it was how she decided to style it. We've seen a lot of white suits on the red carpet. It's been donned by people like Diana Ross, Diane Keaton, and even Angelina Jolie. So Celine probably wanted to style it a little differently to set herself apart from the rest of the crowd. Well, unfortunately for her, this was the year many people played it safe, making her ensemble the most outrageous thing on the carpet. But Celine's later go on to make a name for herself as an avant-garde fashionista, and has even shared a stylist with a fellow fashion icon, Zendaya.
It's like a different persona, that comes on when I'm on stage. Like I know how to walk in heels and, I know how to do that, but in my day-to-day life, me and my dad walk the same.
And now, let's take a look at the first man on this list who also decided to wear a tux. Sounds pretty standard, right? Well, he wore it with his own twist as well. Pharrell Williams' 2014 Bermuda tux turned some major heads. He was nominated for Happy from Despicable Me 2, and he came to the red carpet dressed like many of the other men, just with a small twist. Pharrell wore a black tux with a pair of shorts instead of trousers. Now, Joan Rivers gave it a pretty scathing critique, saying that Pharrell looked like he was representing the Lollipop Guild. Plus, New York Times questioned whether shorts had any place at an event like the Oscars. But it seems like the singer was a fan of this trend, because he went on to wear it again at the 2019 Oscars too. And well, no one seemed to care then, because a lot of other male celebs were also starting to break fashion rules. Speaking of these rules, this next look also made waves for daring to break them. Sharon Stone's 90s Oscar fit was pretty confusing, to be honest. This actress seemed to read the Oscar dress code and then do completely the opposite of what it asked of her. Things might be more chill right now, but back in the 90s, rules were rules. Still, Sharon chose to defy them. She wore a white Gap shirt with a silk Vera Wang skirt. People thought she was being disrespectful by not following dress codes, but the look has received a lot of appreciation ever since then. It was even referenced in Zendaya's Valentino look at the 2022 Oscars 24 years later. The actress made red carpet history, but she's actually worn Gap on the red carpet before. She showed up at the 1996 Oscars in a simple black Gap shirt, and it seems like she's stuck to this formula ever since. Well, these were the most controversial red carpet moments.